This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to the This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and as always, I'm with a man who, for this episode, has decided to get really, really sconed. Nate.
Yeah, right. Hey, do you have any scone on?
No, what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you? Ooh,
So do you watch baseball, Nate?
I kind of do. It just started this week, right?
Yep.
Basketball has started, or NBA is done doing their preseason. I'm not sure if the WNBA is still preseason or if they're
saw
playing.
that they were starting something, yeah.
Soccer's going on. Golf is back. Tony Finau almost won the last tournament, but fell short again. That guy finishes in the top 10 like all the time, which is good. He's consistent, but I feel bad he just can't get over that hump and win more tournaments. I think he's won one tournament, but he's always in the top 10. But baseball, I actually did watch a couple games this week. I normally don't watch baseball unless if I go to like a game here in Salt Lake, or, you know, I went to my nephew's game yesterday. That was fun, but watching baseball on TV can be a little boring. I normally don't watch it till October, September time when playoffs are about to start, especially if there's a team that I like that's going to make the playoffs. But it's hard being a Major League Baseball fan because they play so many games, right? And then if your team halfway through the season is a losing team, they have like no chance. There's like, why am I going to watch another 90 games of a team that I know they're not going to make the playoffs, because they have so few teams that actually make the playoffs, which I think is weird for the sport that has the most amount of games played, but the fewest teams that go to playoffs. But this year might be interesting because the season's basically cut in half, right? So it's almost like they're past midseason, but they're just starting. So every game is going to mean more this year than it did prior years. So I might pay more attention this year than I've had and have in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I think the shortened baseball, the way things are going with that, you know how much it's going to change my baseball watching habits?
Zero.
Absolutely zero.
You don't.
Not my thing.
You don't even watch like the playoffs or the World Series or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Do you like going to the Bees games at all?
Mm-mm.
Huh. Interesting. I like going to the Bees games, and usually you're going with like friends. Now with family, but I was the only one that ever wanted like stay to the end because I was actually watching the game rather, because most of the time you go with friends that are just hanging out, right? And
yeah. Well, here, I'll do this. When baseball, I know they completely canceled the minor league stuff for this year, but things are normal next year. We'll have to do a whole Bees ballpark episode.
Yeah, the Smiths. It's
Smith
called the Smiths ballpark now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on the docket for next year.
We will. And it will be back next year, right? Guaranteed?
Absolutely. Guaranteed.
So
let's talk about our episode for this week. We're talking about Sconecutter.
Yeah, Sconecutter. That's kind of a Utah thing, right?
Yes, absolutely is. There is still one location going strong out in Sandy off of 90th South and kind of right there by Classic Skating.
Yeah, just a stone throw from I-15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a location we visited a lot when we worked over at Classic. One fun story I'll tell you about that location is that I think I mentioned on the Classic episode, but we used to play hockey after hours, after all the skating sessions were over. And I had a buddy who was really into hockey. He got into hockey, I should say, in high school. and he wanted to come play, and he asked if he could bring another friend with him. And I'm like, well, we already got a bunch of people playing from work, so yeah, you can bring one friend, but that's it. He ends up showing up with the whole high school hockey team, not just one friend, but like the whole high school hockey team. So everybody's looking at me, my coworkers and stuff and friends that came to play, going like, what the heck, Nate? Like, we have way too many people to play now, and I said, hey, I'll take care of this. So when you play like hockey compared to other sports, you usually there's not places you can really go play hockey. So you usually have to rent a location, right? So everybody's used to chipping in a few bucks to rent the location that you're going to go play at, if you're doing ice or even roller for that matter, compared to like basketball and stuff. You just go find a gym and play, right? So I knew that they're used to paying, even though we didn't have to pay because classes just let us use it for free. So I ran up to the DJ booth and said, hey, has everybody paid their $5 buy-in for hockey tonight? So I made everyone on the high school team. So I made it sound like everyone else had already paid from my group.
Yeah.
So I made everyone on the high school team pay me $5. So there was like 10 of them, maybe even more. So we ended up with like 50, 60 bucks from them. And then everybody was happy because I said, hey, after hockey, to my group of friends, we're going to go over to Sconecutter and eat. So the high school team paid for our dinner that night, or I should say almost breakfast, because we played probably till like 2 or 3 in the morning. But
Oh, wow.
So that's the way I made it up to my buddies and friends at Classic, was steal money from the high school team to fund our Sconecutter trip. So they weren't
I
as
hope
mad.
none of those guys are listening right now.
No, my best friend, he was my best friend at the time. He found out about it later and was pretty upset. But I said, at the same time, dude, I told you only bring one friend, and you brought like the whole team. So you're bad. So he did find out. But
Okay. Just want to make sure they weren't gonna make you meet him at the flagpole after school or something.
there you go. So every time like I drive by that Sconecutter location, I kind of get reminded of that one trip, but to that location. But yeah, like you said earlier, there used to be a whole bunch of restaurants, especially out where we live. I think when I moved out to the West Jordan area, within a 5-mile radius, there was at least 4 or 5 Sconecutters you could get to. And now we just have the one on 90th and I-15. So it's unfortunate that they've all kind of, like I like to say, faded off into the sunset.
Yeah, I was even thinking about today. We mentioned a couple. There was the one over by Kearns High School. There was another one off of 90th South in West Jordan, and like 3200 South or 3200 West. There was one in West Valley. There was one at the Harmons off of Redwood in 54. They were all over this area, and now nothing. In probably the last 10 years, they've all gone away with the exception of this one location. And it's kind of relevant right now because what used to be a Sconecutter burned down just earlier this month. This was the one off of State Street and 20th South, and it closed in 2018, but it still had the Sconecutter sign. It was still one of those original places. But yeah, the July 2nd, shortly before noon, they started seeing smoke and burned down. There was nothing they could save at it. But who knows what they were going to do with this building anyway. But still kind of sad to see this landmark of the community. I mean, it was founded in 1977, so it's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Sad to see it go away like that.
Before my time. So it was arson though, right? We're the one on State Street a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the guy's name was Benjamin Dillon or Dillman something, and he was squatting around the area. I don't know if they were saying he was like squatting down and they saw him light the fire, or if he was actually just a squatter, but he was in there and then ended up at the Winco, which is pretty close to there, and they found him, brought him back, and people identified him, and he was charged with arson. So,
well, did your family frequent Sconecutter, or what's your memories of going to Sconecutter?
we did. It was pretty close to where I've lived growing up. It seemed like when we go to Sconecutter, it was more of a treat because it always was a little more pricey on the fast food side of things. We'd always get the fries extra crispy. I'd get my plain turkey scone. And I really liked this, I think was from Sconecutter, where my love of pumpkin shakes came from, because they always had a really good pumpkin shake in October. So I had to get one of those. But yeah, we went to it quite a bit because we really liked it as a family, and we'd always split some of the dessert scones that they have. Um, so a lot of fond memories of it. I can't pinpoint one quite like yours, but definitely a place that we enjoyed as I was growing up.
Yeah, there was one on, I want to say it's 9400 South and just off of 700 East, and which was pretty close to where I grew up. So I remember we went there quite often growing up for dinner. And I always got the turkey sandwich with everything on it, whatever. Because they had like do you remember their little notepads where they took your order? And they would
Yeah,
like
vaguely.
cross off. I don't know if you remember, but they had like um, all the toppings you can put on it, and they would cross off the ones you wanted, like the little mark saying what you want on it. And I just remember saying, I just throw everything on there. And I remember their turkey. Do you remember like their turkey sandwiches? Like the turkey was almost like it was like deli turkey, but it felt like they
Hmm.
almost like even broke it up even more.
Yeah,
And
that was
so
it's good.
So I remember like I just loved going to Sconecutter and having that sandwich. So as a kid, you know, 10, 11, 12 age, I would take our turkey at home and even rip it up even more and put on my sandwich.
Just to replicate it.
Yeah, thinking it would taste better that way, trying to copy Sconecutter's recipe. But it obviously doesn't taste the same when you don't have it on a scone. So if you're having a regular bread compared to a scone, I think that was part of the magic of the sandwich is that it was on a white scone. And they also have, I said white scones, but they also have the wheat bread scones as well. But that's only if you're trying to be healthy, right?
Yeah, which if you're going to Sconecutter, probably not your first choice
Yeah.
in the health department. But I would, I can't believe we haven't talked about it yet because I'm a huge fry sauce fan, and my favorite part about this was getting tons of fry sauce and dipping my turkey sandwich in the fry
Oh,
sauce as
really?
well. Yeah, like I'd almost dip so much of my sandwich in there wasn't even enough for the fries just because of how much I loved the pairing of it. But
And their fry sauce packets were very similar to the ones you used to get at Arctic Circle, right?
yeah,
So I used
it
to
might have
like
been the
get
same
I used to get a whole
actually.
bunch of them and kind of stack them up like the way they do those cups or the cheerleading pyramid. That's what I would do to entertain myself while I was waiting for the food as a kid. Because you needed like what for your meal? You needed like 20 of them, right? Because they're not
Yeah, they're pretty
big.
small.
So I'd get like 20 of them and start stacking them up and wait for the food. But I did love their sandwiches. I don't think it's very often that we got like the dessert scones there because they do have like what a cinnamon scone and
Cinnamon, honey.
honey. So every once in a while, but usually if we were going to get dessert, we got the shakes like you mentioned.
Yeah, the dessert scones are my favorite. It's burned in my memory how delicious they are. And it's been a minute since I had one, but the this most recent time I had one and it was still delicious. Delicious dessert scone.
Scones are always good, no matter when or where you have them.
Yeah, and
So
I
it's,
doubt this will be the only time we talk about scones on the podcast because this is something very unique to Utah and our love of scones and just our notion of scones as well. Like being introduced to scones, it was the Utah version to me as opposed to what anywhere else, especially in Europe, a scone is like a square, more like a bread pastry type thing,
mm-hmm,
but ours are fatty and deep fried and delicious.
like almost a donut type.
Yeah.
But Sconecutter, like it was interesting because they took the concept of a scone and made it into a whole restaurant, right?
Yep.
And put food or meat and made sandwiches out of it, which was something unique that I don't think I've ever seen outside of Utah. And I know my mom going to Sconecutter a lot. She liked to they had a Navajo taco,
Right.
and the taco part was basically a scone, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've had the Navajo taco, but man, that thing is good.
And I also like their. Did you ever get their fries, but have them put cheese on top?
I don't know if I ever did the cheese fries. I did sometimes they had a spicy fry option, and we did that a couple times.
Yeah, I like the cheese fries. Like if you're just going with a bunch of friends to hang out, the cheese fries was a good option. And with a bunch of fry sauce, of course.
Of course. Fries are very good. I have always loved the fries here. And a lot of this is me talking in the past just because it's not as accessible to us now. It's kind of out of the way to go all the way out to Sandy to get it, but still there, still thriving. Oh my gosh, Nate,
What's
we
up?
for, we forgot to do reviews.
Ooh, and this one we have to do the reviews because there was some fun ones, right?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I didn't forget to do reviews. I remembered because I wanted to save this as the best part for last because man, you got some good reviews for this place.
You enjoyed doing your review research.
Oh yeah. And usually when we do our reviews, we have a response. We'll read the review and then we'll kind of respond to it on our take and our kind of feedback based on the review. But thanks to Sconecutter, we don't need to do that for this time because they respond to the reviews themselves
They're pretty proactive on their um, getting back to people on the reviews,
and they don't hold back either. So,
which is great, I think, to be honest with you.
absolutely.
So hit us with your favorite ones.
I will. We could probably do a whole episode just for the reviews alone. So it's going to be hard for me to filter these to find the best ones because there's so many of them. So this might be a longer segment than normal. Put this part on double speed if you don't have it on there already. Okay, so Zachariah gives a 1 star and says the bacon, egg, cheese, and bun were all microwaved. Disgusting. My dog has brought me better food from a trash can. You charge $5.27 for a breakfast sandwich that you refuse to cook. Waste of money, waste of time. The owner says, well, Zach, me and Subway have a lot in common. Your trash must be awesome. Thanks for your time. Here's one with even out any kind of feedback, but Heather gives a 1 star, and the owner says, Heather, maybe you clicked on the wrong button. Going for 5 stars? Question mark.
It's an honest question.
So another one without a message, but Nathaniel, hey, close to Nathan.
Pretty close.
They give a 1 star, and the owner says, Nathaniel, as a past employee, sorry you feel that way. We thought you were a good employee and wish you well. Give us a call if you have any unresolved issues.
Well, that's nice of them, right?
I love the
Um,
in all caps.
did you see the review from Splice?
Yes, what does Splice have to say?
He said, foods cooked in microwaves, most of it. It's overpriced for microwave food. Why lie? The response, hello, Spice. We never lied. No idea where you got that. We do raise the scone dough 3 to 4 times a day and cook them fresh. The chicken is grilled and potion for later.
In potion, yeah, they're using potion.
Potion for later. And yes, heated in, oh no, a microwave. Do you want us to grill it as you order? That's not practical. Wait times. The other meats are sliced daily. All are very high quality and certainly not overpriced. We're sure like positive people, so let's go for 5 stars next time. So that's what I like.
Coaching.
Yes, the coaching. Like I saw that a lot in the reviews. Is if someone gives a bad review, it's like, come on, let's do better next time. Give us 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars. Come on, just press the 5.
Press the 5. It's not that hard. Come on.
I saw one that someone had given a 1 star, but because the owner actually responded to their comment, they upgraded to 2 stars. So it goes a long way. A whole star's worth.
And then Sean Rose.
What does Sean say?
Oh, wait. Every night, all night, they close out their fryers. This is a great lazy out to not have to make food. The 4th time I've had to come at all different times, and they're always cleaning out fryers. This place has gone downhill. Management does nothing, and workers are lazy. Won't be surprised when this place closes down fast, not to mention the health department closing them down twice already. In other words, don't waste your time. Damn, Sean, you're incorrect. The fryers are cleaned every night to make food so good. This place has gone straight uphill, thanks. Management does a lot with smiles. Some workers can be lazy, but most are not. The health department loves us. They give us thumbs up all the time. So I'm not sure where you got that. Oh, if you're not careful, you could end up in court with false statements of shut us down. That is a lie. But come on in. But come on in for 5-star treatment anytime. Try us in the daytime. The graveyard shift is clean. The fryer's time, usually at 2 a.m. But I love it. I love like the honesty, and just like the direct.
No holding back.
Yeah. Like say
Refreshing.
but honest, right? So I think they're answering their questions, but in a non-politically correct manner.
Yeah, definitely not politically correct.
So, damn, Sean, you're incorrect.
I like this one from Patrick. He says, losing its touch with 3 stars. The response is, hello, Patrick. What to do? We will reestablish our touch next time you come in. Going for 5 stars. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, so again, coaching. Come on, give us the 5 stars. You know you want to.
Warren gives him a 4 star, so still pretty reasonable. He said the food was great, but there was this manager guy strutting around, yelling at the ladies, trying to build my cheese fries. There was no love, but the food was great. Owner says, thanks so much. We're going for 5 stars. Our regular employee called in sick. The filling guy has volume issues for sure. Good thing he is only on one night. How would you feel being the employee reading these comments about yourself on Google?
Yeah. Asa says the scones have too much butter. I love butter. However, the scones were just soggy. There was so much butter. Response from owner. Was it honey butter? That's it. Like, are you serious? Honey butter?
The best part is you can respond as the owner, but it's not like someone can comment back again.
Oh, that's a good point. But was it honey butter?
Was it honey butter? Good question.
But that's it. That's the only response to soggy scone.
I mean, so I'm reading all the lower ones because they're the funniest, but they do have 4 stars in Google in total. And so not bad for being the only surviving Sconecutter. And the consensus is that people love it and they'll go out of their way to come back here because the food's still being delicious. But we'll finish out with this last one. It's a 4 star from Kirk. He said the food is always delicious, but some of the employees could use an attitude adjustment. Owner says, I know, right? These low-skilled employees got to whip them into shape sometimes. Thanks for the positive part of the message. I'm sure we'll get that 5 stars next time. Smiley face.
So I know, right?
I know, right? Low-skilled employees. Awesome. It's cool to see someone really just giving it the way it is on the Googles.
But they do have a lot of 5-star reviews from just a few days ago. So
yeah.
So people, like you said, there's the 1 stars are the funny ones. That's why we kind of go there first. But I think they're doing okay with 4 stars.
Yeah, and when I'm in the area, I'll go back. I'm not gonna completely write the place off. I'll still eat here from time to time. It's not gonna be something I'm going out completely out of my way, but not gonna completely forget the good old Sconecutter.
Me neither. Well, 2 things. One, I'm writing a romance novel about tea and pastries. I'm going to call it Romancing the Scone.
Romancing the Scone.
You don't get that one because you're too young.
No, I don't get it. Sorry.
Romancing the Stone. Romancing the Stone, I think is what it's called. Okay. But HBO is making a drama about relatives conspiring against each other to take control of the family pastry company.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to call it Game of Scones.
Oh.
Winter's coming. I never saw Game of Thrones. I've never seen 1 episode, so I'm one of those.
Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit until that one comes out. But until then, Keep listening to the podcast. Make sure you give us 5 stars and we'll give you an awesome response back as well. Thanks so much for listening to the This Is a Place podcast.
See you guys next week.